Databricks has many compute choices. Because there are so many compute choices, it is easy to sometimes get overwhelmed. My goal is to tell you what you need to know to make those right compute choices. All-purpose compute or classic compute is good if you're using Python, R, Scala, and SQL in any sort of combination. Always try to leverage the latest LTS version or the runtime version. Based on my test, I highly recommend to use autoscaling and Photon. While in some cases, Photon may or may not reduce the total cost of your workload, in my personal testing, or most of the time, improve the execution speed, and in many cases, saved money. Remember, all-purpose compute has a cloud provider component, like if you're using AWS or Azure or GCP, and also has a Databricks component called DBUs. If you're using classic compute for something that you need to run every day or every hour or so, use workflows for orchestration so you can leverage job compute, which is a lot cheaper. SQL serverless warehouses, if you're using SQL, are your best friend. 4-second startup time. Not Databricks is all 4-minute startup time, but 4 seconds startup time. Set the auto terminate to 5 minutes and play with the t-shirt sizes for the compute to find the right performance that you're looking for. Key thing to know about SQL serverless, it is fast and cost effective. In my personal testing, more often than not, SQL serverless had the best performance compared to other Databricks compute, as well as in the bulk of cases, had better compute than some of the other competitors to Databricks that I tested for the same workloads, in terms of both cost and speed. Not always, but very consistently, Databricks came out on top. Now, serverless. Now, I'm not talking about SQL serverless, but just serverless, which runs both Python and SQL. It is a good option when it comes to jobs or workflows. It offers very good speed without having to adjust anything and tends to have an average performance in terms of cost compared to other Databricks options. Now, keep in mind, now factoring that with the current performance that serverless offers and the current discounts, I do expect that the performance will continue to improve in the future, and probably those discounts will go away as that performance gets better. At least that's what I would assume, or at least hope for. For interactive workloads or day-to-day operations, serverless is more pricey from the tech cost, but it does save you on having to wait for your cluster to boot up, which then saves you some time on labor and actually allows you to spend time on actually coding. Which, by the way, if you're coding inside of Databricks, make sure that you do use the Databricks AI assistant. Key thing on serverless, tracking costs in serverless can be trickier. And while you should use tagging for all of your resources that you have, including the SQL serverless and all-purpose compute and job compute and whatnot, tagging is very critical in serverless. So use what's called budget policies. I created a video on those showing you how to get started with those. Highly recommend you watch it if you're going to be using serverless, which again is a great option. I personally use it. I hope this tips or general understanding of compute was helpful. Oh, before I forget, pretty bad about this. If you're not following me on LinkedIn, please follow me on LinkedIn. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube, love for you to subscribe if you enjoyed my content. Have a wonderful day.